now we come to the final series of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends to use the original models, Series 12. With 20 episodes narrated by Michael Angelis in the UK and Michael Brandon in the US. Although Pierce Brosnan was originally going to narrate this series in the UK and the US. Wow, he did such a great job in The Great Discovery that he was actually going to carry on for the series. How cool would that have been? As well as being the last series to use the models, it was also the first series to use full CG elements, mostly with the people and the faces on the engines.
No, thank you.
So how did this idea work out? Man, it was a stupid idea. Yeah, it's pretty half-assed when you look at it years later. But again, it has some interesting characters that we sadly never got to see again. Like Hank the American Engine, who may come across as brash in his cheery confidence and enthusiasm, but being the mighty titan he is, Hank is more than used to being easily seen or heard. Like most of the other characters, he had the potential to be a great character in the series. But sadly, he was just seen in one episode and then never seen or heard of again. And I find it a damn shame, because he was the first American engine on the island to have an American accent. And I say the first American engine to have an American accent because Rosie's based off of an American engine, but she has a British accent. So this makes Hank the first actual American engine on the island. Well, okay, unless you count Smudger from Series 4, but still. There's Flora, the little steam tram, who mainly works on the Great Waterton tramway with her tram car, which is her pride and joy, that she uses to perform passenger duties. Although she is at times quiet or even timid, she often greets other engines with a sunny smile. She is always cheerful to work, but she can be concerned about speaking up right away if there is a problem. And I really like this character's design. It's just a great looking tram, which makes her different from Toby. She's almost like one of those trams that you'd see at places like the Seaton Tramway. And it would have been really nice to have seen her in the future, because it would have been nice to have seen more tram engines on the island of Sodor. But like Hank, she was only seen in one episode and then never seen or heard of again afterwards, which is a damn shame. And the last new character to be introduced in this series was Colin, a chipper, cheerful canal-side crane who works at the wharf for the narrow gauge railway. While he isn't the largest crane or the strongest, Colin's determination and skill make him fast and efficient. He prides himself on always knowing the right lifting speed for the right load. And besides all that, there's not really much to his personality, just the fact that he's friendly and loves to work and knows how to lift the right loads. And like the other characters in this series, he was only introduced in one episode and then never seen or heard of again. Which is a damn shame, because like the other characters, they could have totally spent more time developing his personality. This series also saw the return of several other classic characters, like you got to see Oliver, Harper, Duck, Donald and Douglas, Bill and Ben, and many others from the classic series in this series. But it's really just pandering to the classic fans who watched it from day one. Again, Hit was trying to pander to the fans of the classic series with the reintroductions of classic characters like Duck, Oliver, Toad, Bill, Ben, Donald and Douglas, and so on and so forth. So it's great to see them again, but it's obviously pandering to the fan service. And there's many episodes that just contradict earlier episodes, like the whole Three Strikes You're Out bullshit that Sharon Miller keeps putting in. And for me, one of the worst episodes is Best Friends, because it has Thomas and Percy tested in their friendship. But their friendship has been tested so many times in the classic series that this just feels repetitive. And yeah, let's talk about the CGI in this series. When I first heard about the CGI animation for the first time, I was quite shocked that Hit Entertainment would do this to my childhood favourite. And they did try and experiment with it by having the models have the CGI faces, but it just doesn't work, even today. I mean, when you look at the CG on the engines and all the people, it just looks so unrealistic when you put them with the models. I mean, when you look at the faces on the engines and the people that are CG, then you can tell that they're not really there. Especially in those sunset and nighttime scenes, it just looks so fake. They would have honestly just been better off either going full CG with this series or just not going CG at all. And this was also the first time the engines got to speak for themselves without relying on the narrator to say their lines for them. But it was all done by the one person, and this was the last series that Michael Brandon and Michael Angelis would contribute their voices for every single character. And in Michael Angelis' case, it was honestly a good thing, because he was getting on at the time and he couldn't do that great energy and the voices that he could do in the past. And this would later be upstaged in Series 13, where they introduced individual actors for the characters. So outside of Series 13 to 16, this is one of my least favourite series in the show. Not just because of the CG elements, but because of the uninteresting stories. Well, besides Rosie's Funfair special, because that's an episode that's based on Rosie. And up until Series 21, this would be the first episode of Rosie where she gets full screen time to herself, ever since she was introduced in Series 10. And this episode has a great cameo from Stepney, who we hadn't seen for years, and it was just great to see him again after so long. It's just a damn shame that we never see him again in the future series. I'll admit it was nice to have Rosie get a major appearance in Series 10, since all the other appearances she had were cameos and just one-off speaking roles in episodes. So it's nice to have her get a main role again. So aside from Rosie's Funfair special, which I really enjoyed, the rest of the episodes are just quite dull in my opinion. So Series 12 for me is the weakest of the pre-CG series of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. And for a send-off series for the model series, then I honestly think this is just really weak and not handled very well. So Series 12 had some okay episodes, mostly pretty bad episodes, and a really bad experiment that didn't work very well, which was why they moved on to full CG afterwards. So yeah, despite having one good episode in this series, this was definitely a weak send-off for the original models. I honestly think that Series 11 would have been a better send-off for the models, as well as the Great Discovery. But that's it for the crap stuff for Thomas the Tank Engine this Thomascember. Next time we'll be moving on to some good stuff.